As American shoppers are getting hit by all-time high prices in beef, we're seeing that not only is Congress taking interest in the monopoly in the meatpacking industry, we also are hearing from some of those companies in the meatpacking industry about how long it's going to be before we see any relief in the beef prices. We're going to talk about the problems in the beef industry. We're going to walk you through some of the numbers that you're not going to be hearing in the mainstream media, and we're also going to give you some solutions on how you can get ahead of this, because it's about to get a whole lot worse. All right, friends, welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are the things you won't hear in the mainstream media. U.S. herd size for cattle is at a 70-year low. It's not good. And while ranchers are starting to rebuild their herds, we're hearing from ranchers here on this channel that they are hesitant and reluctant to rebuild their herds as prices of beef for them are so low. Well, how can prices be so low for the ranchers and yet so high for Americans at the store? And that is an answer that we need to take a closer look at, because in the meatpacking industry, there is a massive monopoly. Just 4 companies, JBS, Tyson, Cargill, and National Beef, control 80% of the beef production in the United States. That is, however you want to call it, basically a monopoly. 80% of the beef in the U.S. being produced just by 4 companies. And what kind of collaboration is there going on between those companies? What we do know is that the ranchers are complaining that they're getting very, very low prices for their cattle, while at the store we're paying record highs on ground beef and other cheaper cuts of beef. Now, while we look at beef prices as a whole, they're not at super all-time record highs overall for beef. These are wholesale prices. But when we look at retail prices, we're seeing supermarkets are making money. We see these companies, these beef producers, they're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money for their shareholders. Ranchers aren't making anything. Ranchers are getting killed right now. They are not getting nearly as much money as they need to even just make it worth their while. Ranchers are getting pushed out of the business. Now, there's a whole lot of cattle in the United States raised by ranches that are basically in it for the tax benefits. They're not really a commercial production. They are, people who have land that don't want to pay taxes on the land. And so by being a ranch, they get lower tax rates. So they have the cattle there for tax benefit. But right now, those folks are looking at the prices and looking at the time and investment that it takes to keep their herd up. And they're finding it's not worth it. And so we're seeing a lot of these semi-ranchers are just getting out of the business. While on paper they're in business, in reality they have full-time jobs, right? Full-time jobs at an office, wherever they're working, and their family kind of keeps the cattle up. But they're not making money off of it anymore, and it's just not worth it. And so we're seeing a lot of those independent ranchers stopping business. And more and more of the beef is coming from these big production herds that are working directly for companies like JBS, where they are pushing the small ranchers out of business. And this is where, we talk a lot about you should be going directly to ranchers, you should be going directly to farmers, and making deals for buying whole cuts of beef, buying quarter of a cow, half a cow, whole cow, and putting it in your freezer, using independent butchers to do this. This cuts out the middleman, and in fact, you actually find that when you buy in bulk, you're paying less than you would at the grocery store. And we're continuing to get reports from a lot of you guys, and I've seen this too, and I imagine you have too. You go to the store and you buy a steak, right? You get it on a little styrofoam tray, and you pick it up, and it's pink and red on the front side, right? You pick it up, and it's brown on the back side. Funny how that works. That's not how oxidation should work, but that's what's going on there. You got some color dyes being used in order to make it look fresh. And then on top of that, what's underneath that steak? There's a little moisture absorbing pad, right? And it's full of water. You feel that styrofoam package, and it's got a bit of heft to it. You're paying not for the meat value of weight, you're paying for the package of weight. And they're putting more and more water in there than ever before. So even though the prices at the store may seem comparable to the prices that you're getting at your local butchers, you're actually getting a much better deal at your local butchers because they're not putting those little stupid meat diapers. Let's just call them what they are. They're meat diapers. So right now we're being told by the St. Louis Fed that ground beef has hit an all-time high at $5.98 per pound. Now, that is retail price, average retail price that people are paying at the stores, and this is something that they track, right? It's basically how much this is impacting Americans. So this isn't wholesale beef prices. Wholesale beef prices are closing back in on an all-time high, but ground beef prices are well into record highs. And the difference there is interesting for two reasons. First reason, ground beef is cheap, right? As beef prices have been going up, we're seeing Americans are switching from better cuts of beef to cheaper cuts of beef. So we're seeing the better cuts of beef are actually starting to come down a little bit in price, and the cheaper cuts of beef are continuing to rise. Now, I mean, they're still cheaper than the more expensive cuts, but we're seeing this spread, right? So if you're switching over to cheaper cuts of beef, and you're like, man, I really wish I could get a more expensive cut of steak, well, now is more and more kind of the time to do that. Spend a little extra money and get the steak, especially if you can find it marked down. So a lot of stores are having trouble moving the better cuts of beef. And because of that, you're more likely to see those better cuts of beef on discount. So whether you're at Sam's Club or at your grocery store, keep your eye out for the better cuts of beef being marked down. You might find a fairly good deal. But I'd recommend just staying away from the retail stores entirely if possible and buying that beef directly from the ranchers and farmers through local processors. And cut out that 80% four-company monopoly, which is just printing money. Farmers and ranchers that go through an independent processor and go direct to customers, they get a lot more money per cow or per head of cattle. And in addition to that, you're actually paying less money too for a better quality of beef. Because these cattle often are not finished with corn. So once the cattle get sold to the meat packing plants, right, they get put into cages and just start getting force-fed corn until they get so bloated and fattened up that they get really good weight, right? So just one thing after the next is just reason why we should be moving away from retail beef, if at all possible, to independent slaughterhouses, independent butchers, and the ranchers that they're getting it from. Now, other options that you have out there, we've been partnered with Prepper Beef for a while, It's freeze-dried beef. Now, you can get freeze-dried beef in cans, but prepper beef is higher quality, more direct from farmers and ranchers. 10-year shelf life for freeze-dried. You can get canned beef, which is a good option, like Keystone. Now, Keystone has been bought up by, I believe it's Smithfield, so it's Keystone Beef is no longer independent. It's part of the big conglomerate there, and we've seen the quality of it kind of go downhill recently, and that's a sad thing to see. It's still probably the best option out there when it comes to canned beef, price-wise versus against the value that you're getting. But we've been getting more and more reports of more water being put in those cans and less meat. Anyway, so you got your canned option, which is a good option. That's shelf-stable and will last basically indefinitely. The texture will change over time, but as long as the can doesn't lose its structural integrity, you're in good shape. Then you got your dehydrated beef, like beef jerky. This is a great option to have. You can get Jack Link's or whatever kind of beef jerky you want. The lower moisture content that you get, the longer that it will last. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you throw it in the fridge, you get more shelf life. If you throw it in the freezer, it tastes a little worse, but again, you're going to extend the shelf life significantly. And then you come to basically your freeze-dried beefs, and you're looking at either the cans with the crumbles or prepper beef is more like strips and cubes, bigger chunks. These chunks are actually fairly big, and when you reconstitute them, it's more like you're eating steak, whereas if you get them in the cans, they have a tendency to turn into powder. I mean, you're basically getting meat powder. It's not ground beef, but it has the consistency of ground beef practically, right? So if you want a great treat, like if you have your food stockpiled, I like prepper beef because it's fantastic for like that treat. Like if you're a month into the apocalypse or whatever, you're gonna really wish that you had a real decent steak, and having some freeze-dried beef will do better. I have a whole bunch of canned beef. It's fantastic, but it's gonna get old. It's gonna get old real fast. I mean, not like old as in bad. It's just gonna get tired of it, right? I'm gonna wish for a decent steak with some steak sauce on it, right? And this stuff's great for that. But I'll put that down in the pinned comment down below. But Keystone, you can also get the GV brand roast beef in a can. They do have the corned beef in a can, like the stuff that comes from Brazil. I don't like that stuff, but you should try it and see if you like it. It's the corned beef and comes in the weird cans with the key that goes around the side of it. Those, some people like that, and that's a great option for them. Let me know what you guys are doing for beef. Obviously, you can take beef and put it in the freezer. That's a great option. If you get beef from the butcher or from a farmer, and then you put it in your freezer, that's a lot of people do that, and stock up for a long haul. Make sure you have like some sort of power backup for your freezer, or get ready to cook a whole lot of beef real fast if the power goes out, right? So those are some of the best options out there. Prices are not going to be stabilizing for a while. JBS, their CEO Wesley Batista Filho, said that herd size in the United States won't be stabilizing until at least 2027. And that's according to JBS, right? JBS knows what they're talking about, and their CEO is in the know. So no relief until 2027 at least. That's not next year. That's not this year for sure. Not next year. And that's only the herd size. And once the herd size stabilizes, then it's going to be a while until the beef prices stabilize. So we got a long ways to go in this cycle. Typically, the beef cycle, production cycle, is a 12-year cycle. And we've just, assuming we've hit the low, which may not be the case just yet, we may still be going downhill. Like I said, we already have less cattle in the United States than we've had in 70 years. We have a few more people than we did 70 years ago. We have over 50% more people, actually, to be more exact. And so more people, less beef, you can expect those beef prices to go through the roof. So hopefully you guys are getting prepared for that. We got a lot of crises coming our way, but this beef crisis is one that's going to hit us hard. The only reason why we haven't gotten it worse so far is the fact that we have been getting, the ranchers out there have been fattening up their cattle longer because they're getting worse prices. They've been fattening up their cattle longer before they turn them into the meat packers. And so we have less cattle, but we are getting them to have more live weight. So that's giving us more beef per head of cattle. But that's at the cost of it costing the ranchers more money to hold on to that cattle longer. So the cattlemen and ranchers are getting hit harder, which makes them even less likely to rebuild their herds. They're just trying to survive this, and they're just making their decisions as best they can to make things work. As we go into the fall season, we're going to see that's going to get even worse because these ranchers are not going to hold their herd into the fall and winter season. So we may see a little bit of a dip in beef prices over the coming months as the ranchers liquidate even more of their herds, but it's going to hit us even harder as we go into winter then, as the herd sizes continue to decrease, as well as farmers are done sending in their cattle for the year. All right, friends, let me know what you guys think out there. If you are in the beef industry, please let us know your thoughts and what you're hearing and what you're seeing. What are the ranchers around you doing? What are you doing? What are your thoughts? Ranchers watch the meat markets like nobody's business. They know exactly what's going on with these prices. I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up on what they're seeing and what we're seeing in a large picture. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to find out more about Prepper Beef, which has no additives, they work directly with the ranchers in their area, and they freeze dry big chunks of beef that come out really great when it comes to reconstituting it. That's down in the pinned comment down below. All right, friends, I'll put that also up on the screen right there. You can just tap on there and go over to Prepper Beef. If you subscribe, even if you only get one delivery, just choose a subscription because you get a price cut, and then you can just cancel it right after that. You can also, the more you buy, the better discounts you get there too. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it is really high quality stuff. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.